It can be so hard to find inspiration for art after an art burnout, when you're feeling stressed, you lack inspiration, and that's what today's video is all about. Last week, we were talking about how to get that spark back, and here's another version, other ideas today. We're going to be taking a photo that I took outside and talking about how to get inspiration from outside and other places, other sources as well. But before we continue with this conversation, my landscape watercolor course has been launching, and tonight, the registration is ending. The link is below. So if you want to get signed up for my new landscape course, then click the link below. But I want to encourage you guys that as you are doing your artistic journey, that you branch out, that you don't just do things that you want other people to like. Don't just do things that you think that you should be doing. The whole point is for you to figure out what you love, what brings you joy, doing art for self-care, and then also art to encourage other people. But it doesn't have to be about them, if that makes sense. Share your art if you'd like, but have this space where you can create and you can control the outcome. You may not like the end result, but you can control if you paint it again, if you paint it differently, if you change the narrative, that mindset in your head about your expectations about what has to happen. So I'm excited to share this video with you, and I really hope it inspires you in your artistic journey. Let's get to painting. Friends, we always start off with spraying down our palette, getting everything ready. And I am using my Meeden watercolor paper today. You can see this 100% cotton. Meeden is absolutely wonderful. I've been working with them at least for a few years. And this is just affordable, high quality paper. So that's linked in the description. This is also their palette. If you want to get this, it's very affordable and so big, fun for mixing. We're using my watercolor brushes today as well. So let's get into our painting. These are linked as well. Few sets left, if any. So you can go ahead and snag those. Now, today, we are doing something like this. This is a photo that I took recently, and it's just bringing me some joy. I'm going to use my filbert brush, but if you don't have a filbert, you can use a round brush and something like this guy. This is the number 12. I love this as well for painting some larger flowers. So we're going to dip into here, and we are just going to use inspiration from the painting, from the photo I made. Yes, I made, sure. I'm going to grab some red, put it in my palette. So we're just kind of mixing around different colors today. I'm looking at those blooms, and I'm going to make myself a little bit of space. And I'm just going to add in just a couple, two in my mind right now. Maybe we'll do more, we'll see. But just some nice marks like that, getting really thin here, kind of those trumpet shapes. That one got away from me. Adding in some pink. I want to vary up the concentration of the shades of colors as well. Grabbing some more pink and just coming around from the side, swooping in, and then taking off some paint. And let's do a few other little trumpet shapes here. These will all be tied into the same stem of flowers. So there's different flowers on each stem. I'm gonna grab this one here, beautiful pink color, because why not? And then going this way. So you lost your joy, right? You lost your pizzazz for painting, and you're not really sure how to get inspired again. Well, I've got you, and I'm telling you this with my experience that I've recently gone through, as I shared. Let's do another one up here. And so it's like you kind of have to have an open mind, try different things. But 5 things that I could think of that have really inspired me, take the paint off, would be, first of all, if you have a garden, going to your garden and getting inspiration, just sitting out there, being mindful of what you can see, smell, taste, touch, and hear, literally being mindful, practicing what's called mindfulness, and where you are observing. Right now I am observing my page here. I'm kind of observing how, taking off some paint, how the watercolors are moving together. I'm going to put a few more up here. And I can hear the brush on the paper too. in the jar. Sitting and just being. We're going to take this just to get some green. I've got some green over here. I know you probably can't see much of that, but you can't see the whole thing. But you've got my little green puddle there. And I'm just going to start putting in our stems, and then we'll see where else we want to go from here. So I'm just going to curve them in towards this main area right here. Okay, and then we're just going to go like this. We've got some beautiful leaves that we're going to put in too, and so we've got to save room for that. But I want to start connecting these guys together so that we know what's happening here and what to add next. So that's just kind of behind the flower. I do want to add a little extra. So I'm going to start with this alizarin crimson. I think that is what's on my palette here. This is such a great palette. It's so big. It's lively. Let's see. I'm just going to make them going like downward. Let's just try that. So it's good to have a large mixing space so that you don't feel kind of claustrophobic when you're painting. Grabbing a little bit of red. You feel like you can move around and things can melt together, which is what I love about this. And it mixes some of those together, but then we have that separation between more of the warmer colors and the cooler. Of course, purple's in there too, but purple's not going to make such mud with, some of these colors as if, if I were to put it next to some others. So anyway, I have a rhyme or reason for why I do stuff, but sometimes it makes sense to me. It may not make sense to the whole world. Let's do some right here. I like doing these just, various shades of pinks. So now let's grab our brush. So if you hang out in your garden, you just start to see the colors and the textures. You're hearing the little bugs buzzing around. They're super busy doing their thing. And just watching them can inspire you. If you're in a rut, it can give you some dopamine as you're just observing what's going on and figuring out like what you want to do when it comes to your art journey. Let's go ahead and start putting in some of those leaves. We're just going to make some big ones here, just sort of layering them up. I've got my green gold, so that nice sunny green. It's on the palette. It's getting mixed with other things. That's okay. So you can use your round brush, again, if that's more comfortable for you. And just going to make a very large leaf shape right here, coming around. And then water is going to help fill that in. So just being outdoors, going on a walk and observing the things around you can inspire you to, take pictures of what you see also, so that you can use that inspiration later on. Grab some darker and just pop that in on the edge. Let that spread wet on wet. And let's keep adding in our leaves. So another thing is to go to museums. Look for inspiration there. That might not be, especially if you're a floral painter, that may not be something that comes to mind for you. I'm just going to sort of layer this around the flowers. It might not be something that comes to mind, but going to museum is going to expose you to some interesting textures, elements that might help you to see what you want to paint. If you're just painting flowers all the time, you might find some flowers there, but most likely you're going to find some other elements that would be something else to try out. We get stuck in the same rut, then we don't really, learn and grow. And so it's just really helpful to branch out. So that's why I say museums. Maybe it's a history museum. I mean, what could you find there? You never know until you go. What about, the third thing I would say is, Pinterest, of course, right? What are the things that you love? But I love to use that for the things that I don't know that I love yet, things that I haven't tried and I'd like to, figure out how to do. And so you can make some different boards to just start, focusing on, maybe you want to start drawing animals or people. Let's just keep doing our wet on wet technique here. I would say the biggest thing is, beyond just trying to stay in your comfort zone and do the things you love, trying to find those new things that can help you branch out of an old rut and focus on something new. And as these guys are doing their thing, I'm actually going to dry them, and then I want to put in some layers of some darker leaves around them too. So we'll be right back. All right, still taking that large brush. I want to go with some darker green, so I'm going to go with what I called my emerald green, and it's just that mixture of sap and some Payne's gray. So just darken up your green with whatever color you might have around that could work. And let's see, with this painting, there's like 1, 2, 3 in the picture that I'm looking at. And then there's all these others that are layered on top, just tons of leaves going on here. So let's make it a little darker. Just gonna go for it. And see how it goes. Fill that in. It's easy to do this when you started off very light with everything else. You can just paint over the top. Might need a few layers, but that's okay. We're here for it. It can be so just daunting to get back into art after you haven't been doing it for a while and you just feel like you don't like what you're doing or you just don't feel inspired. Now I'm scrubbing my brush here. It's lightening up, kind of blending that color from underneath. And so now I've got this leaf on here. I'm going to add in wet on wet, a little bit more. Oh, beautiful. It's going to give me some cool texture. It's going to give me lots of blooms. I love blooms, so I'm cool with that. Then I'm going to take the back of the brush and I'm going to just add in some lines. So some nice, these are going to be very light lines, but you can still see them without actually using paint. Now I've etched in some lines there. I think that's just going to be pretty to have that in there. And then just kind of figure out where else you'd like to add some leaves. I think that I would like to put one over here too. So I'm just doing that layered effect. There's so many plants in this picture and I'm just going to go for it right here, make it a little bit wider. And we'll see how this goes. I haven't practiced this first. Sometimes things turn out how you want, sometimes they don't. But that's sort of how I try to teach you guys, just to be okay with whatever happens in the art result. You might love it, you may not love it, and if you don't love it, what are you going to do next time? How are you going to do it differently next time? I'm going to have these actually touching. Just look at the puddles of paint I've got going on here. It is great. Fill that in. Do a little scrubby if you need to, or you can add another layer of paint too. And even if it shows through, it's not a big deal. Same thing, just etching in if your paper will allow it. This Meeden paper is, I tell you, you got to get your hands on it if you have never tried it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It helps to get the job done, and it's durable. It's really durable. Putting in a leaf right here, just on the side. So another way to get inspiration that I've really been loving after my art burnout is to start drawing, adding drawing in to your artistic watercolor journey. Because when you do that, if you don't draw yet, it's going to start opening up your brain, how these touch, to different ways to create. It's going to help you start to look more for the details. I'm going to do another leaf right here. Just having fun with this layering. It's kind of fun. Kind of great. Can you tell that I'm enjoying it? Let's see. One here. I'm tempted to do it this way. I'm going to do it this way. Just kind of following suit with what's already on there. But just taking your pencil and finding, photographs or Pinterest stuff that you want to draw, and then drawing it and then adding watercolor and focusing on the details of the drawing, and can be really fun. You can listen to a show, like literally listen, watch as you are drawing. And then when you have more time or space, you can do the watercolor later, or you can do it while you're doing your show, the whole thing. So that's kind of fun, just having these come together. I'm going to do the etching again for this one. This one may not show up as much, but that's okay. Here we are. And I want to add a little bit of splatter with my larger brush. So I've grabbed some of my runny paint and I'm just splattering over the top of it. And then over here too, I think is fun. I can even put a little bit here. I just like the look of filling in most of the white space. That's working for me. That's interesting. Sometimes you just don't know where a painting is going to go. And you don't have to know. That's the fun of it. All right, so I want to do some more with these flowers here. I've got my filbert brush, and so I'm going to utilize that a little bit more. I've used some of these brushes right now, and I haven't used all of them, but I think, let me see, I'm going to go with the big filbert. We're just going to do it. And just grabbing more concentrated versions of some of this paint. Start adding in a little bit of design over the top. A little extra there. Anywhere where you feel like you need a little bit of texture. We'll switch over to some pink. And honestly, the fifth way that I recommend for finding inspiration is taking pictures of people's clothes. Now, it sounds really weird, and people have given me weird reactions, but I always go up to somebody who I know, so it's not too weird. And I just say, hey, I love the pattern of your shirt or your dress. Could I take a picture of it? Because I want to paint it. And usually they're like, oh yeah, sure. And they feel pretty excited that I want to, you know, use something of theirs for inspiration. So, but it's just, if you find, you know, a composition or a flower that you like, or you really enjoy, then, you know, take a picture of it. Ask permission. That's the best way to do it, I think, or else you kind of seem like a big weirdo. Sometimes you seem like a big weirdo anyway, but you can always ask, and they can always say no, but they will probably say yes. So ask. All right, grabbing some of that puddle. I'm going to dab my brush to take off some of the gooiness. We're just going to go over this and darken up. Actually, I think the gooey is fine. We're just going to darken up our stems. And if you want to add any other like foliage, you can at this point. That needed some right there. And you know, if you want to grab your little filbert number 6 and you want to add in some more blooms that are smaller, you can do that too. You know, we're not copying this painting. We're using it for inspiration. And if it doesn't look totally natural, like how you see something in nature or whatever, I want you to think about how painting today has brought you some joy, brought you some relief, relaxation. Let me know in the comments, and make sure to like the video too, so that other people can see the fun that we are having, because I am having a blast. A little connection there. I know it is a bit fast. If it is fast, you know what to do. Pause that video, catch up, and then continue to have a good painting sesh with me. All right, we've got some red. Splatter. I think splatter makes everything better. All right, this painting is almost done, but I do want to add a little bit of extra to the leaves, some of the leaves. And so I'm just going to go over here and outline some of this for a little bit of texture. I'm actually going to put in some lines too. And over here. And over here. Love the sound of the brush. And then over here, I'm not going to put in any lines, just do a little bit of outlining. So you can use a pen if you want to outline your leaves, or you can outline with watercolor. That also works. That's still wet. And this one is not. You know what? A little bit more over here. Some outlining would be good. And then if there's, again, anything else to be done, is a great time to do it. But I really hope you enjoyed this painting. And again, pick up the Meeden supplies or my brushes, link below if you're interested. Thank you so very much for watching. I always appreciate each and every person that shows up here. And if you liked the video, let me know in the comments what you liked about it, what resonated with you. Landscape course, gonna say one more time, registration ends tonight. So click the link below just to learn more about it and see if it's something that would help to increase your happiness, really, because it is a course on finding happiness in your art. I used my brushes today, so you can find those linked below if you want them. And of course, the Meeden art supplies are fabulous. They're amazing. You can also get my referral link there to see the products I talked about today and also the other things that they provide. One more person, if there's one more person out there who wants to go to our art retreat in Italy, that's coming up at the end of October. Really soon, I know, but one spot left. So I have that linked as well. If you have any questions, reach out to me, leave a comment. Leave a message on Instagram. I love to hear you guys, your ideas, your stories, your heart, how I can help in your art journey. Just let me know. Happy painting and happy mental health, friends. Mwah.